and this is State of the Union. Is that what's lacking now? Confidence in the future by the private sector?
Yes, but we were in a very deep hole. It's not surprising that it's taking a long time to climb out. The economy is disappointingly weak right now, in part because the stimulus did work, but it ended. And the private sector is not picking up. So Doug's right. We've got to focus on the long-term future, get the budget deficit under control over the long run, so that markets can see that we're in charge of what we're doing here, and do everything we can to give confidence and hope to the private sector. I don't think that means there's nothing the government can do.
What can they do specifically?
Well, the thing that would help most right now, I think, is additional aid to state and local governments. That's not likely to happen because the Congress isn't likely to do that. But I think it would. They're busy cutting. But I think it would help, because if you look at the job numbers carefully, what's happening is the private sector is adding jobs and has been for a long time, but much too slowly. In the meantime, the public sector, the state and local governments, are laying off people. So they're a drag on the economy.
Let me ask you an
I guess that's the place where I would disagree. I mean, what we know is that a lot of the state and local governments basically ballooned their budgets in a way that just can't be sustained. So what they're doing now is the restructuring that would have to happen anyway. So to pay them to not do the right thing, I think, is a big mistake. The fundamental thing that faces us is the looming debt. We are aiming straight toward a Greece-style fiscal crisis unless we change direction. So the single most important thing Congress can do right now is fix that. That would fix the outlook for jobs. That's a real jobs program says, you know, we're not going to sail into a financial crisis.
But I thought there were competing views here, and that just in general, Republicans were saying, listen, we've got to cut the debt. It gives businesses and sends a signal to the world that we're going to be responsible, and that's going to create jobs. And then you have Democrats pushing back going, you don't cut spending in the middle of what is still a very weak recovery. Which is it?
Well, it isn't a which. Both are right.
Can you do both?
Yes. We need to cut long-run spending. We need to make changes in the entitlement programs, Medicare, Medicaid, so that they don't grow as fast in the future. We also need to reform our tax system so that it is a much more efficient system and can raise more revenue in the longer run from lower rates. There are several packages on the table. I served on the Simpson-Bowles Commission that said exactly that, and the Domenici-Rivlin group said exactly that. There's no mystery about what we ought to do. We just need to get on with it. And
do you agree you can both cut spending and increase spending?
Alice is an unusually sensible representative from the lefter wing of the economics profession, and the trouble is on Capitol Hill, you are seeing this dichotomy. You're not hearing the Democrats say, yeah, we agree, we're going to change entitlements. Yeah, we agree, we're going to get the tax reform done. They're saying no to both of those things. We need to do them both. They're saying no. And instead, they're trying to get their political constituencies to come up with more spending. That's a mistake.
Would both of you agree that you cannot get spending under control unless you tackle the structural integrity at this moment of things like Medicare? That
yes.
You have to,
yes.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to cut benefits. You can't just say, oh, you know,
no, you have
fraud and abuse.
Absolutely. We need to restructure Medicare and Medicaid so that they aren't growing as fast in the future.